Welcome to He Said, She Said Razor Branding Podcast with Michael Russo and Jaci Russo. To learn more about how to improve your brand, visit brandRUSSO.com.
Welcome to the He Said, She Said podcast with your hosts, Michael Russo and Jaci Russo. In my attempt to find just the right tone of an introduction for Michael, I spent a lot of time thinking about this, and I wanted to approach it from a serious but joyful, studious but playful kind of approach. Michael, how does this feel for you?
I'm gonna do it next time.
You keep threatening that, and you keep not doing it.
Because I don't have a good voice for it. But welcome to the He Said, She Said Razor Branding Podcast with Jaci and Michael Russo. And today we're talking about blank. See how easy that was?
That's good. Why don't you just do that?
All right.
I love that for you. But so today's blank, as Michael so eloquently put it, is the Chief Marketing Officer for USA Mortgage, Chelsea Vonder Haar. Our conversation with Chelsea, you are going to be wondering, is it 2026? Is it 1996? Because we talk about direct mail. We talk about newspapers. We talk about magazines. We talk about flyers. We talk about printed materials. But all of that they are using in a very modern way. And one of the things that Michael and I kind of dug into, which I love so much, is the focus they have not on selling, but on serving. And I think when you serve your community is going to reward you with buying from you. And I think that's exactly what they do, and they do it well.
Yeah. And I think she, we were talking about it earlier, very authentic. There was no agenda on her side. It was very, forthright about what they do and how they do it. And you get a really good idea that she knows who they are.
Yes.
There's a good understanding of what they are as a company. The fact that she kind of she talked about her rise to the CMO role, where she started as a marketing director and
coordinator.
And
I'm sorry. I'm going to correct you because it's important. Marketing coordinator. That is the most entry level you can get, and she's worked her way up to chief marketing officer, the first one the company's ever had, and she's managing national work for hundreds of loan officers. It's impressive.
And because of that, though, she has a very good understanding of the company, a respect for the sales team, understanding of how that all works together. And I think because of that, there seems to be a rhythm to how they do things. And that doesn't come, you can't force some things. Like they know who they are, they know what they're doing, they know what they're trying to do. And I think that's why they're successful, because of that.
Well, and they've built a real program. I mean, Chelsea made it really clear that they have put pieces into place that work. They're using tracking to verify that. They're not just throwing money at things, naming stadiums, spending a bunch of money on digital or social. They're really doing the right things the right way. And that means they're getting the right result. And as the whole time she's talking, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that's so smart. So it was great.
It was.
Thank you for agreeing. All right, y'all stick around to listen to our conversation with Chelsea, and I think you're going to enjoy it as much as we did. When the day is through. Chelsea, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. Obviously, we're going to have a whole section of this chat around direct mail, because you and I both have some experiences at the post office, and I think direct mail is an important thing. Well, because people said direct mail's dead and they left it, and then they went to email, and we all know how that's worked out for everybody. And now I see people going back to it. So I want to know all the ins and outs of successful direct mail campaigns, because I know y'all are experts in it. But maybe we start with just a brief intro. So tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Chelsea Vonder Haar. I am our Chief Marketing Officer here at USA Mortgage. If you don't know who we are a nationwide mortgage lender founded in St. Louis, Missouri, but we're nationwide all the way from Maryland to Arizona and everywhere in between. And we are a retail lender. So what that means is that we're a little different than some of the mortgage companies that you see advertising online. You're not going to see us on a stadium. You're typically not going to see us on radio ads, doing a lot of online ads, things like that, because we focus primarily on relationship marketing is our bread and butter.
Yes.
So
Which is kind of a B2B approach, which I like. And so that's one of the things I liked about this conversation is that most retailers just throw money at it. And I think you all have taken a very focused, strategic, targeted approach. And I love that for you.
Yeah. So we kind of have a different strategy than some of our competitors. So a lot of our competitors take that direct to consumer approach. They market directly to the consumer. And we do some of that on a smaller scale. We kind of have it as a separate division of our company. But our bread and butter has always been relationship because we believe that those partnerships with people like real estate agents, title companies, financial planners, etc., that person is going to be a consistent stream of business for that loan officer instead of one client that will maybe do one loan, two, maybe refer somebody to you. Then if you've got a relationship with a partner that is going to refer business to you, hopefully consistently every month. And we're also a little different in that we focus primarily on advertising our individual loan officers more than our corporate brand of USA Mortgage. That's why we don't do things like putting our name on a stadium or spending millions of dollars on pay-per-click and things like that, because we put that budget into our individual loan officers so they can market the way that they want to. So.
Right. Well, and if you had put your name on the stadium at the time of this recording, we're right in the middle of the World Cup. Your name would be currently covered by a tarp.
Yes. So I would love to say that was my decision, but it wasn't.
I know, but it's crazy to me to think, Lumen, SoFi, all these companies have spent hundreds of millions of dollars to get stadiums named after them. And FIFA gets to come to town and say, nah, you don't get any credit right now.
Yeah.
But I was impressed that Levi's cut their tarp out in the shape of the tag on the back pocket of a pair of Levi's. I was like, okay, somebody's paying attention in their marketing department.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Well,
they brought it into their media. Yeah, because
Yeah.
their entire logo changed on all their socials. It was now a white sheet in the form of the badge, which was brilliant. But again, not everybody has that opportunity to have such a recognizable, longstanding brand to make that work. I think that's a whole nother podcast, Jackie, but I think the whole FIFA thing is like it's kind of filthy, actually, the way they market. I mean, they come in and strong arm everybody. I mean, it is it's a valuable product. I get it, but man, it's like ransom. I mean, we're gonna do it our way or the highway, and it is very just cutthroat, when it comes to participation. So anyway, it's a whole nother story. But yeah, it's just crazy. The more I read about that, the more I find out about their rules and their criteria for doing things and the money that's flowing through all that. It's just insane.
Yeah.
No, I would agree.
Anyway.
And yet I love the way that the visitors to our country have embraced so much about America with Waffle House and ranch dressing and
the ranch dressing.
And I mean, it's just been a blast to see their joy and exuberance of air conditioning and ice.
Yes, with all the terrible things in the media about America, it's nice to see them enjoy the little things like ranch dressing.
Yes.
So.
No, it's the best turn is to get people here and experience a little bit of that, away from everything else, because there are some pretty cool things about this place, we experience them. So
I know, and it reminds me to appreciate the things we've got, like air conditioning and ice. So Chelsea, back to you. I think really, I really wanted to start, and so I'm going to circle back to this as kind of our official start now with a big congratulations, because you were recently promoted to be the CMO. And
thank you.
That's Chief Marketing Officer is a big deal. I mean, that's a high climb in your career. So talk us through the journey of getting to that seat at the table.
Sure. So I started at the bottom. So I started as a marketing coordinator at the bottom. And I'm actually our first CMO here at the company. We've never had one before. And marketing at USA when I started was kind of an afterthought, to be honest. It was, which is very typical in mortgage. Marketing is typically the first department that gets cut during a layoff. It is an afterthought. And when I first started, I was at the bottom of the totem pole. And we started offering more and more products, and the team grew, and it turned into this conglomerate that was completely, it was a nightmare. It was people working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. It was, and because the loan officers and agents couldn't get enough of it, but it was no organization. There was no system to it. And the previous manager left. Some of that wasn't fault of her own, but she left. And I was asked if I would step into it, and asked, will you take on the mess? And will you take it over? And I said, sure, I'll try, and I will do it. And I will do it. I will do it well, but like, it's going to take a lot of work.
Right.
And that was 9 years ago. And I said, I will do it. I will prove to you that I can do it. And at that time, all we did was print. That's all we did. We did print marketing, and that was all that we offered.
So like newspaper and magazines for the youngsters listening.
Yep. And flyers,
Sure.
like brochures,
Sure.
some like mailers. That was it. Now we manage social media for 200 plus loan officers. We do video for our 200 plus loan officers. We do digital marketing. We've got the full CRM for loan officers and agents. So yeah, so we've grown quite a bit.
So your agents are spread across the country, and you've got obviously a few hundred of them. So are you just coaching them through them recording themselves, sending it to you, and y'all are editing it and setting it up? Or have you developed a better system?
Yes. So we do a lot of coaching them to record it on their own and sending it to us to edit. Our videographer will also, if he'll get people to sign up, and he'll travel to our location sometimes and do kind of bulk video shoots. Yeah. Yeah. So he just traveled a couple months ago to our branch in San Antonio and did a bunch of video shoots down there.
How willing are those loan officers to do it? Do they stand up and they're like, yeah, let's go, I want to be TikTok famous? Or are they like, this is not my good side, I don't look good on camera, I'm not comfortable with this, please make it stop?
All of that and everything in between. The majority are like, I hate this, but I know I should do it.
Right.
And our videographers are really, really good at making people shine on camera that don't want to do it. So most of them hate doing it, but they know they should. So he tries to get them to like do it all at once. He says, bring 2 or 3 outfits. We're going to bang it all out at once, and try to get 15 videos at a time. So he'll shoot podcasts with them. He'll do everything. He'll try to film with them for like an hour and a half and just chop it up into a ton of different videos for them.
Yeah, I've found that too. What's funny is that with a lot of salespeople, people that are really extroverts, a lot of ways in public, and I watch them, as soon as you put a camera on them, they shut down, and it gets really weird. Because now they're overthinking what they're going to say. They know that it's in perpetuity. They're like, okay, what am I doing? How do I look? What do I do with my hands? It gets really weird. But the thing is, they're very good with people. And so when I do interviews, I'm sure your guy does the same. It's like, man, just talk to me. Tell me your story. Let's have a conversation. And then let me do the editing later. I'll take care of all that. But just talk to somebody. And as soon as you put that, get the lens away, maybe put somebody behind it or near it. But when you have that conversation, that's when the magic starts to happen, because these guys are already naturally that way. They already have a gift of gab. They know how to talk well. They know how to present something. They know their business. But it's finding a way to get them out of, I'm putting a camera up, now I'm talking to an audience and I don't know what to say. Everything changes dramatically,
Yes. That's always been surprising to me, how people that are so good in front of people and selling people can see a camera and immediately freeze. and that's how the majority of them are.
Or just change personas. Like all of a sudden they're not who they normally are. Now they're talking differently than they were before, and they're just really overthinking it. Or worst case scenario, you try to put a script in front of somebody or a teleprompter and they're trying to read it. Now it's like, you can see their eyes moving back and forth, and it's just, and you kill the authenticity of it. But when you can establish that rapport of conversational, interviews type, things, I think that you win every time,
Yeah. Yeah. And we try to get them into like, the first time you do it, it's gonna suck. Like it's going to suck, but it's like the more you do it, the easier it's going to become. So you just got to make the leap and do it. So, and we try to get that through with our agents too. And we try to, when we do it with real estate agents, we try to pair them with the loan off. We make the loan officer do it with them.
Right.
Because it's like, hey, if your agent's doing it, you got to do it too. Like you got to be there with them and do it and show them that you're in it together. So we try to make them do it together.
I know y'all are a Teams company and we're a Zoom company. And so we do a lot of recordings for our clients on Zoom because it's a familiar space for them. They're used to being in Zoom meetings. And so they'll just get on a Zoom and talk. Well, guess what we've got now is a recording of a video of them talking, and then we can chop it up and use it. So do y'all do that sometimes with your teams?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. We'll have them just record themselves on Teams on Zoom and chop it up that way. Yeah. We do that a lot. And we'll just say, talk to the camera the way that you would, like present like you're presenting to a client. And he'll say, you know, what do you want this for? Like, do you want it for TikTok? Do you want it for Instagram? Whatever. And he'll chop it up the way.
That's awesome. So, I love that. I love that. So I love the way that y'all have approached the relationships and the referrals. What do you feel is the real driver? Like, are y'all constantly asking, hey, don't forget, give me a referral. Hey, how can we help? You know, is there a guide you give to them to remind them how easy you all make it for them? What do you think is the trick or the reason for the success of why they're consistently referring to you?
So I think it's because they're using our marketing, you know, because we can't go in and be like, hey, give me a referral. You know, we have a lot of compliance rules to abide by. They're using my goal whenever we come up with, you know, new marketing initiatives for our loan officers, my goal is to always give them something new and exciting to approach an agent about. That's something new to talk about, that it's not rates, because rates have frankly sucked the last few years. And if you're going in trying to get into a new agent office talking about rates, or that you do X loan program, you sound exactly like every other loan officer they've ever do. So I want to give you a resource to go into an agent office and say, hey, here's something that I can help you with to help grow your business. Like if you're struggling, if you need marketing help, here's how I can help you. Because agents are approached all the time for lenders asking for, hey, I do this, like send me your deals, Like here's somebody that can actually help you. Right. So we kind of like, when a new loan officer starts at the company, we educate them about everything that we offer. And we kind of give them this packet and we're like, hey, this is like, go sell marketing, go sell what we offer. And that's what they'll do. We kind of equip them with it, and they will use our marketing to get in with new agents, particularly loan officers that are new to the business. Like this is literally how they start conversations, is like, our ones that have just gotten licensed. You know, we've got loan officers that are like 23 that are new to the business that that are asking us for, like, we're giving them marketing every week because that's how they're getting in agent offices and setting meetings, because they're using it to start the conversation, because that's how agents are actually interested in taking the meeting. So that's kind of how we're getting them to get their foot in the door, is by providing the marketing to them. And then, like, we have some loan officers that are using it to kind of, you know, solidify some partnerships they've already had established for a long time. So kind of using it in a couple different ways. Hopefully I answered that question fully. I feel like
that was perfect.
Answer.
Because
we're speaking Jackie's language, because that's one thing she talks about a lot is, you know, when you can't differentiate, when you can't stand out in a noisy environment, it always comes down to price, and you don't want to be in that conversation. You know, even if you win, you lose in the end. It's not a good place to be, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Well, and what I love is that y'all are using these kind of traditional, old school marketing methods, but in a very modern, up-to-date way. And obviously it's working. And so I look at companies that are trying to go all in on everything that's shiny and new, and they forget the real core of build relationships, stay top of mind, provide value. That's the stuff that's going to win in the end, period. Because it's humans talking to humans.
Yeah.
I think y'all are doing that well. So let's talk about direct mail. You have a relationship with the post office. I think your relationship is probably better than mine because the post office is mad at me right now.
Depends on who you ask, but yeah.
Derek is on vacation. And for anybody who's listened to the podcast for a while, I've mentioned Derek a couple times. He's our mailman. He is awesome. And every time he goes out of town, I don't get my mail while he's out of town. It's very stressful for me. So I think there's this big pendulum swing in marketing where, everybody used direct mail because it was one of the only ways, in the 1900s. And then all these newfangled opportunities popped up in the 2000s. A lot of companies left direct mail behind. Post office started to see diminishing returns on their investment and kind of got themselves a little bit in the hole in terms of their revenue. But you all have really found ways to maximize the direct mail opportunity. And in a day and age where people sometimes work from home, so they're not getting mail at their office, where mail has gotten more expensive, maybe sometimes less reliable, if you have a Derek in your life who goes on vacation too. So tell me, how are you using direct mail to work for you, and how are you tracking how well it works?
Yeah. So believe it or not, direct mail is still, out of everything that we offer, our most popular item
I love that.
with real estate agents. It is, sometimes it still baffles me. It's just still. So I think a lot of it is the industry that we're in, because real estate agents love print marketing.
Mhm.
They love direct mail because they love being able to take that piece and go to a seller and say, this is how I'm going to market your home. Having that tangible piece
Yep.
to give to somebody just speaks more than showing them, this is the social media ad on the computer I'm going to run for you. It doesn't fit in your hand the
Mhm.
way that, like, okay, so I know we're talking about direct mail, but like one of the things that we do for like print marketing is we make these beautiful like listing magazines. Is one of our most popular items. It is something that like an agent that we're talking to, they see it and they're immediately hooked. Like, because that's something they can put in a potential seller's hand and they're like, wow, you're going to market my property like that? I'm sold. So partially I think it's the industry that we're in. Real estate agents are really still highly dependent on print marketing because of the clientele. They use it as part of their marketing strategy that they're talking to sellers about. They all want to include it in their seller's presentation, that here's my marketing budget that I give you, and this amount is dedicated to print and mail marketing for your listing. So that's a lot of what we do. A big part of our direct mail is about specific listings. So the most popular direct mail that we do is every door direct mail. So if people listening don't know what that is, it's EDDM for short. That's how you're going to hear me refer to it. So what is it? It's like sending a regular postcard, but instead of sending to a person's name and address, you pick a postal route to send to. And then you don't have to have somebody's name and address. It just sends to everybody that lives on that postal route. And you get a huge discount by doing it that way. It's a third of the price of a regular postcard. And then you don't have to buy a mailing list, anything like that. So, and what we had found is that all of these agents that we were talking to, they were all still doing mail, but they were spending a ton of money on doing it. But they could do it with EDDMs and they could save a third of the price by doing it that way and not have to buy a mailing list and save money. So we do a lot of that with, we do lots of like market reports, just listed, under contracts, coming soon. And then we do lots of like, kind of what we call more farming ones, where we have people that kind of pick an area that they want to target and we help them come up with like a campaign for, they send them twice a month, once a month, and we help them come up with different messaging that they're sending. And then we help them kind of track it, where our standard is that we put a QR code on every single mailer that we send out. so that we can track, at least on our side, we let the agent kind of decide on their side what they want to include, but on our loan officer side, we have a QR code that
Right.
tracks, so we can see what every mail piece is doing, so that we can go in, and we have a paid QR code subscription, so we can go and see what mail pieces are getting hits. We also try to track it by, we partner a lot on our direct mail with small businesses, because we've gotten a lot of great data off of that. Like, the agent and the loan officer will partner with a small business that will like offer a coupon or something on there, to get more eyes on it, to get people to save it, put it on their fridge, etc. And say, bring this in for, to use this coupon at my business or whatever. And so we'll save a lot of that tracking information as well. So it's definitely hard. I would love if we had more tracking on it, but we do what we can, with the QR code route and kind of
Right.
the local business route. But
I
yeah,
I love that. I love anything old school, and I say old school because those are like the things that I kind of cut my teeth on in advertising. Coming out, it was direct mail was a huge thing. And it's rare that we
TV,
get to do it
radio,
these.
direct mail, billboards. That was it.
Yeah,
Magazines.
and
yeah,
very effective. And I think today it's still effective. We rarely get to do it. Same with radio. I love writing for radio. It's just so much fun, but it's rare these days. You get to have, a radio campaign, especially if we're having, clients that are more regional and national. But direct mail, you have an opportunity to, you think about it, like I love getting mail. I rarely get mail if it's not a bill. And, but
Mhm.
every once in a while, if you get something kind of creative or interesting, or I don't know. There's something just good about the end of the day and picking up my mail, or it gets dropped off my desk. I get to sort through it, and some of it may end up in the trash. Yes, that's just a given, right? But every once in a while, there's something that makes me pause for a second because it says something, either because I need it, or I'm just interested, or somebody I know might be interested, or somebody took the time to put something into it other than just a randomness. Like they actually thought about it, and I just appreciate it, and so I'll keep it a little longer or remember it a little longer. And I just think there's still a place for it in this world, and obviously in your market, but I think in general, I think it's email has gotten so busy and so messy. I don't know how many emails I delete a day. And I'm
Yeah,
saying that as a marketer. I'm just constantly like, okay, enough. And I start seeing the same messages, and they're all AI written, and they're all,
yeah,
they're all following the ChatGPT model. Well, this is how you start here. And so everybody's doing the same things. There's a lot of sameness in that.
yes,
And so sometimes when you could bang the gong a little bit in a different medium and stand out a little bit more, you're going to have a little more traction.
yeah. Yeah, no, totally agree. And we try to get them to do a more well-rounded approach, like do the mail, and then also like make sure you're hitting these same people with email, and
Yeah.
with social, like try to have the same messaging going around, full circle marketing approach. But yeah, like email is so, people's inboxes are just overloaded with marketing right now.
Yep.
Um, and if you send out a mail piece that has a thing of value, um like the coupons that we send out for local businesses, those are like, the feedback that we get off of those is crazy. Like, it's especially if they're partnering with like an actual local business. Like, we had recently, we had some coffee shop that a loan officer paired with, a loan officer and agent, and like the day their mailer went out, they had like 20 people come in with the coupon
Wow.
to and they were like blown away by the response that they got. People that sent out, like we got one that sent out a like 4th of July schedule for where to see fireworks. Simple, but like people kept it, and they were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I see that you send that every year. Like, I always hold on to that because I see, you send that every year." So just things that people are going to remember, hold on to, um more of a thing of value that they'll appreciate. So that's kind of what we try to push people
I think
towards.
you're going to keep needing things like that. I love that. I think those are all really, really clever, smart ways to really tie in and stick a little bit more, because everybody's touting the AI revolution, and I think it is great. But man, when everybody now has the power to generate 3 times, 10 times the amount of content in minutes, hey, I need an email campaign. Write me 30 emails. And they don't even care about what it says. They're just flushing them out there, and pushing them out there. And, yeah, when you have an opportunity to have some kind of connection, to feel localized, to feel like you're actually trying to get in somebody's world, and hey, you may not need us today, but remember us later. And by the way, here's something, that may help you in the moment, and I think that's a great approach.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's two things, Chelsea, that y'all are doing really, really well. And both of them speak to the real pieces of building a strong brand as opposed to just doing marketing tactics. One is you're serving instead of selling. I haven't heard you talking about showing up and saying to somebody, pick me, choose me, love me. Look at how great we are. Everything you're doing is about serving your loan officers, helping your loan officers serve their target audience, help their target audience serve the community. That is serve, serve, serve. That's like 3 times of serving, not selling. That is going to beat selling every day because people want to be helped. And the way you're doing it is not self-serving, it's serving others. And I think that's always going to win. And the other thing I think that y'all are doing really well is connecting in the community. You're connecting with your loan officers. You're not treating them like a burden, which we talked to a lot of marketing directors who are very annoyed by the people in their company that they are supposed to be helping. And I get it. Sometimes they are annoying, but y'all are really doing a good job of saying, hey, this is how we're going to help you with videos. This is how we're going to help you with printed materials. You see your coworkers and colleagues as your clients and you're serving them. And that comes through loud and clear. That level of respect, I think, is so important to the culture of your company, but also the success of your marketing. And then you take that one step further by helping the people of your company be a part of the community that they're in and connect with the rest, like the coffee shop, connect with other people in the community and help them. Who doesn't want you to win? That is all about you help each other. And those people then help those people and those people help those people. I mean, that's what makes the world go round. And so kudos to you for using your marketing power for good.
Thank you.
On a side note, Chelsea, you can send Jackie a check later in the week.
I love that. Yeah.
That was a great endorsement. No, and that was not paid for.
But it's sincere. I'm being serious. I don't usually go around just saying stuff and fluff. I mean, really, this whole podcast exists because we want to help people. Are you still raising your hand? Have you not learned your Zoom controls yet?
I know. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I hate it.
I mean, the fact that you can do hand signals is great, but you need to remember how to use your signals and do it the right way.
I don't like it. The other day, it's just crazy. All right, go ahead.
Okay. And so, no, it's because the whole reason this podcast exists is to talk to people who are doing marketing, sometimes good, sometimes bad. And the people who listen learn what to do or not to do. And so when somebody's doing it right, I'm going to point it out. That's my job.
I appreciate you saying that because being marketing in the mortgage industry is, as I kind of mentioned at the beginning, it can be really tough. Like it is the first department that most companies will cut from when times are tough. And, and at a lot of companies, it is this kind of like marketing is like the servant to the loan officer. And it is just, like you said, like the loan officers are my customers. Yeah. And like, that's how like I've built my team to feel because like we feel like we're partners to them because without them, we don't have a job.
Right.
I mean, like they bring in the money, at the
Right.
end of the day, like we help them, but they bring in the money. And, like we want to help them get more business.
Because their success is your success.
Yes. Yeah. So it's crucial. So like, what good would it do if I sit there and complain about them all day? Even though they're loan officers, they're salespeople, I'm sure I could have plenty of things to complain about sales.
I have no doubt. We work with a lot of banks. I get it. But the thing that I see over and over again in everything you're talking about is you are looking at it in a way of how can I help them be successful? Because their success is my success. And I think that's it needs to be acknowledged because I think it's great.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course. Well, and I think, we talk to a lot of different industries and everybody's got their challenges, no doubt. I bet it was awesome to be in your business in 2020, 2021.
Sure was.
Interest rates were 2.5%. And it was like printing money. It's a little harder now. And I am humored by that because when I bought my first house, was 1995, so in the 1900s, in Los Angeles. And I remember being told any rate less than 8 is great. That was the philosophy people lived under. Because remember in the 70s, 80s, whatever, interest rates were like 14, 15, 16%. So any rate less than 8 was great. And I mean, obviously it stuck with me for a long, long time. And so I'm thinking about, those of us who refied during COVID, which you'd be crazy not to, we're sitting on these 2.5%, 3% rates. I'm not refinancing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not buying something else. I am loving my life right now. I
Right.
pay pennies in interest. And so the people who were paying attention during that time, they're looking around at 6% and thinking, oh my gosh, it's so expensive. Anything less than 8 is great.
I would weigh in on my take on all this, but
Please do share your vast financial wisdom, Michael.
I think you've covered it, Jackie. So
Okay.
there's no reason for me to get involved in that. I'll let you handle it.
I appreciate
I don't want to make you sound
shine.
not smart. Yeah, I do. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I am
Jackie's
the
our
financial
financer
manager at our house. Yeah, Michael gets involved and included. I'm not just shunning him to the side. He has access to accounts, but on a limited basis.
Yes, same in my house. So I get it.
Well, you work at a bank. I would hope you're the one in charge. Yeah.
Yeah.
We both are in marketing.
Yeah, I'm a creative too. And like when we met, I had she already owned a house. I lived in an apartment that was flooded every night. It was
only when it rained.
Places.
It only flooded when it rained, which we're in Louisiana, so it's only 220 days a year.
Only. What area of Louisiana?
Lafayette, Cajun country.
Oh, awesome. I got married in New Orleans. Love
No way.
Yes. Yeah.
Where in New Orleans?
2015. Yeah.
That's awesome. What part of New Orleans did you get married in?
French Quarter.
Okay. Did you get to do a second line?
On Bourbon Street. No, we didn't do a second line. We had a really small, like 30 people wedding.
Was it a destination wedding, or you're from New Orleans, or you knew people from there?
Destination wedding.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
That's
we
awesome.
came to New Orleans and on a trip, and we just loved it. I love that city. So yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
great.
great.
The next time you come down there, we're 2 hours away. So
awesome. Yes. I love it. It's been years since we've been there. So
it's time for a visit.
Yes.
For sure. It's funny. Our youngest just graduated from Tulane. So she went there for college for 4 years.
Yeah.
And our best friend we met in college in Lafayette, who's from New Orleans. So our connection to New Orleans runs deep just because we're geographically so close.
Yeah.
And I love so much about that city. And so I love when people who are not from here embrace it and make it their own as a holiday destination or a destination wedding, and really just the food, the culture, the people, the French Quarter, Magazine Street. It's just, there's so much great about it.
Yes. Well, it's like I'm in St. Louis, and New Orleans is the sister city to St. Louis. So like we have tons of Cajun restaurants here. Like some of the street names are the same. So like tons of people in St. Louis love New Orleans.
I did not know that.
I got to go to St. Louis 2 years ago for a conference, and I felt the same way. It reminded me a lot of New Orleans. It's got an older side, the newer side. It has that vibe to it. It's just soulful, and obviously in the Mississippi and all that. And we had a client recently in Springfield. We were doing work for a brewery and distiller there. So we spent some time there as well, which is also a really neat place. Felt very central. I don't know how to describe it for Springfield. It was Americana. It felt like.
Yes.
Well, it's Route 66.
One of our branches is there. Yeah.
It is Americana. I mean, Route 66 is to me one of those quintessential American things.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So, I think about every industry and how much they can be impacted by the economy. And obviously, we've all seen our fair share in this decade of challenges. It does feel like the mortgage industry, though, is specifically sensitive to macroeconomic conditions, interest rates, housing inventory, a shrinking size of emerging demographics. This generation is smaller than the last generation, which is smaller than the last generation. So you have less home buyers. There's this predominant thought, right or not, seems to maybe kind of be true, that housing has gone up exponentially relative to rates, salaries. Yeah. And so there's a lot impacting it. How have you found, obviously, what you're doing, direct mail and serving your audience. And so marketing tactic wise, sure, but messaging wise, how do you help people feel better about what's going on when their natural reaction might be fear and retreat. And that does not do well for your home buyers. Like, you need people to emerge and buy.
Right. Yeah. So we kind of, at USA, kind of our messaging that we use a lot is that we have a program for everyone almost. And so we have like lots of options to help people get loans that may not be able to get loans. Like, we have like cash offer programs. We have like the no down payment programs. So we do a lot of marketing for that. We do a lot of marketing towards a Gen Z audience that thinks that they may not be able to afford a home at their day and age. So we do a lot of that. We do a lot of like, why in the long run buying is better than renting, because that is something we battle with a lot. We have a lot of people that say, oh, I think I'm just going to stick with renting. So we do a lot of marketing towards that, why buying is better in the long term for renting. So we do a lot of kind of like education about, kind of like myth versus fact stuff, because there's still a lot of people that think they can't buy because like they have to have 20% down.
Oh my gosh.
Or like believe it or not, there's still a lot
0%, 3%. I mean, there's a lot of options out there.
There's a lot of people. So there's a lot of people that think like I have to have 20%, like, or I have to have this credit score. I have to make this much money. So we do a lot of education about, things like that. So education is our big one. Good. Kind of myth busting, targeting that, Gen Z audience that thinks, I'm just going to rent forever. There's no way I'm going to be able to afford a home. So things like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I think, real estate is one of the best ways to build wealth over time, because it's like a little deposit every month into a long-term, equity, basically savings account. And it feels better to me than paying rent. So big fan.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And that's a lot of our loan officers will do like, one of the things we help our LOs do is like some event marketing. Like, they do a lot of like seminars for first time home buyers. And so they do a lot of like walking them through like what it would look like in 20 years if you bought this home compared to 20 years if you were renting.
Yes.
Time. So we do a lot of that with them as well.
All of a sudden that 6% interest rate doesn't look so bad.
Right. Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
Because really that's if you were looking in 3 or 4 or 5 years, it might not be as dramatic, but 10, 20 years, that's a massive, massive amount of equity you will have built.
Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. I look up and I see that we're already almost to the hour, and I just think, where does the time go? This was, Chelsea, an awesome conversation, and I think it was very helpful. And so thank you for being so willing to share and let people know, there's a lot of different ways to come at the marketing thing. There's no one right answer. It's about the right message, the right tactic, knowing the right audience. And you walked us through really nicely how your pieces fit together for you. And that's not how it would be for everybody, but it's really working well for y'all. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, the day is